Do I involve my daughter's biological dad in school activities when he shows no interest otherwise to pick her up? Or
What's the custody arrangement?
there is no legal custody arrangement. We kind of just left it for now.
Oh, God. Don't do that, please. Please don't do that. What up? What's going on? This is John from the Dr. John Delony Show, taking your calls from all over planet Earth, taking your calls on your relationships, your marriages, your kids, what to do next with your emotional and your mental health, schooling, whatever you got going on in your life. Here's my promise. I'll sit with you. We'll figure out what's the next right move. Give me a buzz at 1-844-693-3291. Or go to johndelony.com/ask, A-S-K. And I get questions from all over the planet, from Europe, from some Asian countries, from Australia. Yes, you can write in. Yes, we've had people from other countries on the show. johndelony.com/ask, and we'll figure out a way that we can connect, if we can line up our schedules together. So I'd love to have you on the show. And take a quick second, hit subscribe on the YouTubes. Man, thank you so much. All right, let's go out to Anaheim, California, and talk to Jennifer. What's up, Jennifer?
Hi, John. How are you?
I mean, I'm dancing like I've never danced before. How about you?
Oh, I just woke up.
I'm not dancing, so same team. What's up?
Okay, so my question is, do I involve my daughter's biological dad in school activities when he shows no interest otherwise to pick her up? Or, pretty much just pick her up otherwise.
No, but continue and tell me your story.
Okay. So there was, she just started school. She's 5. And there was a teacher's conference, and I thought it was, my due diligence to tell him, like, oh, there's a teacher's conference. If you would want to be involved, you can. And, he was like, yeah, sure. But then my husband, he had a problem with it. And he feels like because my daughter's biological dad doesn't show interest in picking her up on his days off, he has 3 days off, works 4 days, so he has 3 days off. And he doesn't pick her up on those days, which, I feel he should. Yeah, so.
What's the custody arrangement?
There is no legal custody arrangement. We kind of just left it for now.
Oh, God, don't do that, please. Please don't do that.
Well, I'm only 24.
I know.
I had her when I was 19.
I know. And so I'm telling you as an old man, I'm 1,000 years old. Please get a legal custody arrangement. Please, 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 please. The greatest gift you can give her is some clarity. Because what's going to happen is he's going to meet somebody, and that person's going to start running everybody's life. Or you're going to make a decision based on, I don't use this word mean. I mean this in the best sense, but based on a fantasy. Like, I had a baby, an amazing young girl by this guy. He's kind of been a deadbeat. I'm remarried. I'm going on with my life, but he is going to rise to the challenge and be a great friend and co-parent to our amazing little daughter. He's not. He sucks. And so you're going to keep ticking along, and what you're going to find yourself doing is trying to drag him into a situation that he is, behaviors of language, he is letting everybody know, including his precious little baby girl, I don't want anything to do with this. But someday somebody's going to sue you for custody, and he's going to say, look at all these conferences I went to. Look at all this stuff. And he never picked her up, never helped, never put a dime on the table. I can't tell you how important it is to get a custody agreement, a legal one, and then just follow it. But to answer your broad question, without an agreement, if you have a guy here that shows no interest, doesn't pick his daughter up, isn't driving you crazy trying to see his precious baby girl, then he is telling you on a day-to-day, minute-by-minute, second-by-second basis, I don't care about your life. I don't care about her life. And so he's opting out. And so no, he is not a part of her rhythms of her life. And will that come back and haunt her? God, yes. But what you and your new husband can do is give her an amazing tethered home so that when she begins asking the terrifying question, what was so bad about me that daddy chose to opt out of my life, that she'll at least have an anchored, stable group of adults, a mom and a dad at home that she can stay tethered to while she really goes through that haunted house. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you really got me thinking now.
Tell me.
We've thought about the custody thing. There was a time where, things got very crazy, and we thought about it. We think we would win, just because we have everything settled. We have our own apartment. We're both working. We have our son as well, and we've got life together. And
a great thing that will be in your favor is 4 years of dad being completely MIA. And really what you'll you'll petition the court to just codify what is. Can we just go ahead and get in writing that this guy wants nothing to do with her, as he's demonstrated for the last 4 years? What you don't want to do is have him get married and have somebody think that they can somehow have access to your husband's going to get a giant promotion one day. You're going to get a house. And your deadbeat ex is going to have somebody in his life that's going to want some of that money. And your daughter will become a bargaining chip. Not doing that. It may happen anyway, but at least you'll have some established precedent. Did he show up to the school meeting?
No, he didn't.
Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I think the person that's going to have to grieve the most here is you. Because probably for 5 years, you've wanted this man to be something that he is not.
Most definitely, yeah.
You've wanted him to become somebody that he does not have any interest in becoming. If you sat down with your current new husband, how long have y'all been married?
We've been married for almost 4 years now.
Okay. If I'm you may not get this, but I would file for full custody, and I'd also file for termination of parental rights, and my husband gets to adopt her.
That would be a dream.
I would go get an attorney and see if you can make that happen. And that will probably be expensive, and your attorney can tell you whether they think they can win or not. California's got some wonky stuff, but it often falls against the man, especially the deadbeat, and you may have an opportunity here. Because one day I want your current husband, is he a good man?
Very. He's he grew up a Christian, biblically,
I know a lot of moronic Christians, though. Is he a good guy?
No, he's a very good guy, I promise you.
Okay. So I would love for him, when your daughter's deconstructing, which will happen, I would love for him to be able to look at her and say, yeah, but I chose you. I went and fought the courts for you. You're right. Your daddy, he chose something else, and I'm so sorry. None of us can change that, but I never want you to forget. I went and got you. I want that to be his story. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, that's been a topic of conversation. She still calls my husband by his first name.
That's fair. How much interaction has she had with Bio Dad?
She's been with him since a year old.
Does she go stay with him? Does she go spend the night with him? How does that work?
Oh, no. Oh, so you said with biological dad? Yes. No. Yeah. Since she was born, she was going to see him, on his weekends. I've been with my husband since she was a year old. And so after that point, that's when he started just doing visitation. Usually it was once a week because that's all he could manage. We do live quite far apart. But yeah, so eventually when she started school, that kind of started dwindling down because now his days off are on the weekdays. And, he has the weekends that he could take her, but it's just very wonky. And he's trying to, get his schedule fixed. But I know the type of person that he is, and he's not the type to really get working on things.
Yeah, I can imagine that's heartbreaking for a father. And then I'm going to be tired on my days off because I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and be at your house by 6:30 in the morning so I can take her to breakfast, so I can take her to school. And I'm going to work on my GED, or I'm going to work on a certification class in town, and I'm going to pick her up from school, and we're going to go get ice cream. Because she's the most important thing that ever happened to me, ever, ever, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't have a lot of sympathy for anything else. But I think broadly answering your question, number one, no. If dad is showing no interest, behaviors of language, he's opted out. Number two, there's got to be some legal protection here for your daughter, for you and your new husband, and quite frankly, for her bio dad. Give him some sort of opportunity to speak up publicly. But I think he's done 5 years of speaking up. But to really sit down and clarify stuff. This ambiguity, I promise you, will come back and bite you. And if it bites you, the person who will pay the biggest price is your daughter. So for her sake, let's get this thing wrapped up and protected. That might mean that you miss a weekend, or that might mean, fine, great. If dad's going to step up and be a part of this thing, cool. But man, ambiguity does not work in these situations. Thanks for the call, my friend. I wish you guys the best. We'll be right back. I'm a founding member of the Get Off the Internet and Go Outside and Live Your Life Club. Actually, I think I'm the only member. Yet I, like all of you, find myself at work and in my personal life basically living on the internets. As a society, we're creating more and more online accounts all the time. We're signing up for promos, giving away our emails and personal numbers. We're buying everything with our phones. I get hundreds of emails to my personal account, my business account. Every business in the world wants to survey me and become my friend. And everyone everywhere is trying to sell me stuff all the time. It drives me nuts. And yet with all of this online activity, do we really know where our data is and who has it? Chances are high that data broker websites have your information and they're selling it to scammers, spammers, and other shady people. But when you use Delete Me, they find and remove your data from hundreds of sites, and they send reports to you directly throughout the year to show you exactly what they've removed and from where. Now I'm getting way fewer of those spammy texts and phone calls, which allow me to let my guard down a little bit and feel some peace. In this new year, you can share this peace by giving a Delete Me subscription to someone you love. Individual Delete Me plans start as low as $9 a month. Go to joindeleteme.com/Delony today for 20% off. That's join, JOIN, deleteme.com/Delony. Since the first day I started this show, I've been preaching about the importance of regular exercise and our overall physical health. I am thrilled to announce I have partnered with Trainwell, an amazing app and personal trainer all in one. Trainwell offers tailored workouts with step-by-step guidance from real people. So while it is on your phone or your computer, it's not just an app, and it's not just a personal trainer, it's the best of both. Me, my wife, my colleagues, and their wives, we've all been using Trainwell for some time now, and the feedback, the interaction with a real personal trainer, the accountability, and the personalized nature of the workouts have been outstanding. To get started, you just need to answer a few questions about your fitness journey, hop on a chat with an expert trainer to discuss your goals and make a personalized plan, and then it's time to get to work. As you complete workouts, your trainer will keep tweaking them to help you make them better, and it works. Over 90% of TrainWell clients say they exercise more consistently. Up to 90% report increased strength, and 73% say they got a confidence boost. If you're ready to start taking control of your physical health, take the quiz to find your perfect trainer at trainwell.net/Delony today. This January only, you'll get 45% off the monthly price, plus 14 days of free training at trainwell.net/Delony. That's Trainwell, TrainWell.net/Delony. All right, we're back. Hey, don't forget, you can check out this show in video and audio formats on the Ramsey Network app, and you can get the show up to a week early. Click the link in the show notes below, or go to and download the Ramsey Network app on the internet, on Google or Android platforms, or wherever you... I don't know how the internets work. Just go find the Ramsey Network app. Y'all know how to do that more than I do. Let's go out to Charleston, West Virginia. Talk to Alex. What's up, Alex?
Hey, Dr. John. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, what's up? How we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Excellent. What's going on in your world?
So my question is, how can I help my son overcome his fear of the woods after he witnessed his dad in a hiking accident?
Oh, man. Tell me more about it.
So my husband and son were hiking on my parents' farm, and my husband slipped and fell and broke his ankle and dislocated it pretty badly.
Ooh, pretty gnarly?
Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of hardware in there now, but he's since had some surgery. He's recovering pretty smoothly, so we're hoping he'll be walking here soon. The problem is that my son was with him whenever he fell. And my husband is not a very hide your emotions kind of guy.
Okay.
He's very loud, and he screamed, and I know he was in pain, but he screamed really loud. And
men love to let other people know that we're in pain.
He did a good job. My son, on the other hand, he's very bubbly and happy, and he was yelling for me, saying that Daddy hurt his leg. Okay. He was very scared.
Sure.
And so we ran up there. I got my husband settled. I took him to the ER and got him taken care of. But since the accident, my son has been very scared of where the accident happened.
Okay.
In the woods. My husband and son both have ADD, and I have found independently that the woods and hiking is like the place where they calm down.
It's a magic. When you find that out and finally figure that out, and you realize what we do to kids in schools, especially little boys, you realize what the great travesty we've done to a generation of human is. But yes, I'm 100% with you. Me and my son live in the woods. And my daughter too. It's just yes, and yes.
Yeah. So now I'm kind of worried because now he's very scared of the woods, and I want to help him to overcome that fear so we can go hiking and to go camping and stuff again. Like I said, we're in West Virginia, so we have woods everywhere.
That's right. So the greatest gift that could be given to that 4-year-old little boy is your husband with his crutches goes back out, even if it's just a little bit, and takes that little boy with him.
Okay.
Your little boy is absorbing the fear and the tension in the home. Especially from dad. He got scared. His body, he learned at a very young age that dad's is not Superman. I remember being a very young kid, maybe 5 or 6 or 7, arguing with my dad that my dad could beat up, I don't remember, like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. And my dad was like, I can't, son. And I was like, yes, you can. But he's my dad, right? And so your 4-year-old, not only did he see dad get hurt in the woods, but his world shattered. My dad's a human. Most people don't figure that out until their dad, like, they find out about infidelity, or he doesn't clear his search history, or he gets cancer, right? That's when they find out. Your son found out at 4, right? And so dad needs to go back with him out into the woods. And so what we're going to, the nerd word is exposure. We're going to gently walk him back through it. Another thing you could possibly do with him is have him draw a picture of the woods. And at night, begin drawing pictures with him so he can begin to conjure up pictures of the woods, but he's got the relational safety of being right next to mom at the kitchen table.
Okay.
And he can draw what's a scary thing that happened in the woods. And he'll probably draw a picture of dad falling down or a slippery rock. And then say, draw me something that's awesome in the woods. And you'll find 4-year-olds they're like Gumby. They are so resilient if the adults in their lives are resilient too.
Hmm.
So can I ask you a hard question? Is your husband laying around moaning still? Or is he being pretty tough about everything? Not tough, not like in the Marlboro Man tough, but is he working on healing, or is he soaking this thing up?
I think he had a little bit of time where he did kind of had a pity party for a little bit, and I don't mean that mean, but
it stings.
Soaking that in,
yeah.
But since like this past weekend, he's been hopping on one leg around. He's been going back to work. He's been doing things on himself, trying to do exercises and stuff.
Awesome.
So he's kind of getting back up.
If he'll invite his son with him, hey, will you help Daddy do these exercises? Daddy needs your help on some of these exercises because we're going to make my leg real strong again. And we're not going to use words like we're going to fix, because Daddy's not broken. There's nothing wrong with Dad. Dad just got hurt and his leg's healing up. And so the little boy is going to participate in the work Dad is going to do to get back out there. And then if he's got some crutches, and he can begin to say, hey, let's go out there and see if we can find a bird.
Okay.
I need to see a bird would make me feel better right now. Let's go see if we can find a bird. Daddy, I don't want to. I'm going to go. I want you to go with me.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to invite him out. And you can start drawing pictures. Now, I want you to hear, for everybody listening especially, I want you to hear what I'm not doing. You can't fix this. You can't heal this as much as Dad can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because this is scary about the woods, but the woods now represent a place that took the air of my dad's mystique away. That's what the big fear is, not the slippery rock. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it would be cool if you could just grab his hand and go out in the woods. That'd be fine. It's going to be different. Dad needs to be, it would really facilitate things. If you're the only one left, if Dad had died in the woods and you're the only one left, then yes, you'd be the go-to.
Mm-hmm.
But if Dad can make his way out there, bring a little boy with him, and the little boy may not want to come, that's okay. He'll end up going.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does it make you uncomfortable as a mom, or are you cool with that?
No, I'm very cool with that.
Okay. All right. Everything that's happening in your house is as it should be. Your little boy, there's not something wrong with him forever.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
Okay. He's not ruined forever.
Okay.
He's not somehow dysfunctional. He's going to have He can develop fear over time if y'all never head back out.
Okay.
If he learns that is a place we never ever go ever again, it's the dark, scary house at the end of the block, he'll put that GPS pin in his nervous system. Here's a good example. I have a friend who's an adult who is an incredibly accomplished higher education executive. And when a storm comes, if there's a tornado warning, he gets catatonic. It is wild. And he had a scary situation when he was a kid. Like they had to get in the bathtub underneath a mattress. It was a scary situation. Like tornado hit town. What didn't happen after that, I'm assuming, is that there wasn't conversations in the house. There wasn't norming. Like my kids know you just go to the basement. There's a storm coming. But they feel mom and dad acting quickly and with purpose, but not panicked. And sometimes we'll go outside and watch a storm come in when I know it's not going to be terrifying, right? So I don't want my kids to their bodies to shut off when it comes to weather. But there's an appropriate response to things we got to do. We got to do these exercises to help your husband heal, get strong again. And man, there's some amazing things out in the woods. Especially peace for somebody whose mind can be a little bit scattered. So good on you, Mom. I appreciate you calling in. I think everything's going to work out great for your family. I enjoy a good pity party for a couple of days after an injury. I do. And then it's time to get up and get after it. And that doesn't mean be a goofball. That doesn't mean be like, oh, I'm going to snap into a swim. That's idiotic. It does mean I'm going to do the things I need to do to be well and strong so that I can go do the things that keep me well and whole. It's awesome, Alex. Thanks for the call. We'll be right back. Okay, before we get back to the show, let's talk about Organifi. Good folks, health and wellness is an adventure and a journey, not a destination. You can never eat so great or work out so hard on one particular day that you're good for the rest of the month. Being well and healthy is something you work on every single day. And I'm not perfect by a long shot, and probably you're not either. Our health and wellness journeys have stops and starts and highs and lows, victories and setbacks. One way to make this health journey easier is to make consistently healthy choices about what we eat and drink. That's why I love Organifi, because their whole food blends contain only the best. Plant-based, certified organic, vegan, dairy-free, and soy-free ingredients. Organifi makes it super easy to get the benefits. Just mix it with water or with your favorite healthy beverage, and that's it. Their green juice is great in the morning, and it's packed with superfoods that help boost your energy, calm your mind, and support you throughout the day. Organifi red juice is loaded with antioxidants to help you with focus, stamina, and recovery. And don't forget the pure juice and, my favorite, the happy drops. Make Organifi part of your health and wellness journey. Go to Organifi.com/Delony right now to save 20% at checkout with code Delony. That's Organifi, Organifi.com/Delony and code Delony for 20% off. All right, let's go out to Dallas, Texas, home of the failing Cowboys, and talk to Brooke. What's up, Brooke?
Hello, John. Thank you for having me on your show. Super excited.
You said that awesome. You're like, thank you. I'm super excited.
Thank you for having me on your show. It means a lot.
You got it. What's up?
So, I guess just briefly, my question is, how do I help my brother that is staying with us be financially responsible? And I can kind of dive into that a little bit more if you would like.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Okay, so a long story short, my brother moved in with us this last August, and he was kind of like at a rock bottom place. And my husband and I told him that he could come stay with us. And, you know, he was kind of struggling financially. And I believe that he struggles as an alcoholic and struggles with maybe like a gambling addiction. And, you know, we just kind of laid it out for him, you know, that we want him to get he could come stay with us here. And I guess...
Hey, Brooke, talk right into your phone for me.
Yes. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, much better, yeah. Okay.
Okay, and so he's staying with us. He has a job, and I guess our only obligation for him was that he had to stick to a budget. And we're not asking him to, you know, pay any bills or anything. We just wanted him to stick to a budget to be able to pay his debt off. But I think for us, it's kind of like I feel like having to mother him to stay on that budget, and I don't want to damage our relationship, and I don't want my husband and I's relationship to become impaired because, you know, I'm kind of like in a hard situation. You know, my husband supports him being there, obviously, but it is a hard balance between the two.
Sure. So, well, here's what you did. You put a boundary down.
Okay.
And so when you have a boundary, you have to have some sort of accountability tool.
Okay.
For you to live here, you must do a budget. And so the accountability tool means every week you have to show it to me.
And that's what we were doing. And so like last month, it was kind of derailed, and it just feels like...
What does that mean? It was kind of derailed, or your brother spent a lot of money?
Yeah, he spent a lot of money that he didn't account. So we want to sit down and like say, you have to account for every dollar. Like,
okay, that's different than I want you to keep a budget.
Okay. So, and I guess that's where I'm like, is that is that like a little bit too much? Like we're wanting him to sit down and go over his finances and account for every dollar, because this is kind of my demeanor behind it too. Like, we're not asking you to pay any bills. You know, my husband and I both work. We have 5 kids. Our plate is like to the max. And so when you're, you know, stopping at the convenience store every day, or you're eating out every day, or you're buying snuff, or you're buying vape, like that to me is like not okay. And so I'm having a hard time, like, not trying to be his parent, but also holding him accountable.
He didn't ask for your accountability.
Okay.
And I know that's hard to hear.
So how do I get myself out of this situation?
You for some reason think you can save him. And he's trying to let you know, I don't want your saving.
I think you're totally right.
And I can't think of a more heartbreaking thing than a brother or a sister trying to save their sibling. He don't want your help. He wants to just keep living his life. He wants you to bail him out. He wants you to feed him and give him free rent.
I have a passive personality. So how do it's really hard for me to sit down and say, hey, listen, brother. And this is what my husband's told me. He's like, hey, honey, like, I know you want to help him, but you have to let him go and figure it out.
That's right.
How do I do that? Because this is kind of like another thing I'm struggling with. My brother came to stay with us, and 2 days later, my husband lost his twin brother to suicide.
Oh,
and
man,
so
I'm so sorry.
he came to stay with us, and we're walking through that. And it's like, I just worry about him hitting rock bottom, which I know I can't be his savior, and you're right. That just totally hits the nail on the head.
Yeah. It like, give yourself some grace. You guys lost somebody so close. And my impulse is the same as yours. I want all my chickens real close to me. All of them real close. My kids will never know how many times I get up and walk by their doors while they're sleeping.
Yeah.
They'll never know.
And I just naturally have that personality. And so
did you and your brother, was it pretty tough growing up?
Yes, we had a tough childhood.
Okay.
And yeah.
And it sounds like he's still got demons, and he's figured out a couple of tools that quite honestly work. They numb the pain.
Yes.
And you learned at a real young age, I'm going to make sure everybody's okay because that'll keep me safe. And so hear me say, you didn't not keep your brother-in-law safe. That's not on you. And you can't extract the hurt from the other half of your husband's heart because he lost his twin brother. And so you can sit with him, but you can't make that okay. That's a hurt that you can't absolve him from. And you've been trying to take people's hurt from them your whole life. And your ding-dong brother, who you love to the moon and back, is just choosing to burn his life down like a candle.
Well, and I feel like he's only doing good because we have our thumb on him. And I'm just like, I'm so just overwhelmed every day between being a wife and a mother and so many things. And I'm just like, I want him to do good and right, but I don't have the energy to exert on okay, did you do your budget today? Okay, like, you can't be spending money, like, so like, how do I move forward? What's the next best thing, as I hear you say? Like, what do I do to not sever the relationship, but also let him know that, okay, brother, like, I love you, but how do I sit down and like have this conversation? Or
did somebody leave you growing up?
Yes.
Who left?
My grandmother raised me. So my mom and dad were never in the picture.
Will you do me a favor?
Yes.
Will you take both of your shoulders and clench them up as tight as you can around your ears, real tight, and then count backwards from 3, 2, 1, and drop them? Okay? I don't want you to hear me. They left because something was going on with them, not because of you.
Yes.
Okay?
It took me a while to realize that,
I
but
know.
yes.
But you still think if your brother struggles with alcohol and he gets pissed off and leaves, that it's your fault. It's not. If there is a severing of the relationship, it's because he chose to walk away.
Okay.
Okay? Your husband's brother, very, very sick, struggling deeply, and made a choice that he can't take back.
Yes.
That's not a relationship that you severed. The one person you have never stopped to put both hands on the bathroom counter and look into their eyes and ask, what do you want, is you. So the next right move is you being really, really honest with Brooke and asking, what do I need right now? And if the first thing that pops in your head is, I need my house back, I need this guy out of my house, then that's your answer. If your first response is, I need some help with the kids, awesome. Sit down with your husband and talk about hiring a college student to come by a couple hours a week just to play. If the first thought is, I miss my husband so much I can't breathe, then y'all figure that out. Or I need some me time. I want to go back to school. I hate my job. I want to give 3 of my kids back because 5 is too many. I don't know what it is, right? But like, I want you for the first time to write down on a piece of paper, what do you want? What do you need? In counseling, there's a nerd word, we call it leakage. The stuff that you're hanging on to real tight will find a way out.
Mm-hmm.
And it usually happens at an inopportune time.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can, in a controlled burn, take the lid off and relieve some of that pressure intentionally. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The second part of this is, I think it would be really wise to sit down with your husband, because you know you're in this, and I do this with my wife sometimes when I'm over my head emotionally. I'm a very emotional guy. I write everything down with the help of somebody that can see a situation clearer than me. And I will go have the direct, hard conversation with it written down. Brother, I'm acting like your mom. You don't want that. I don't want that. And I don't like checking up on you. You're a grown man. You don't need me to do that. I'm wanting this more than you want this. So here's the deal. In 60 days, I'm going to need you to move out, find a place to live. Or in 30 days, I'm going to need you to find a place to live. I want you to be my brother. I don't want you to be a 6th kid. What, are you kicking me out? What are you? No. Let's just be honest. I'm not going to check your budget every week. I'm not going to get, I can't be checking up every time you buy something at the gas station, or every time you're vaping out in the backyard. This is awkward. You got 30 days, you got 60 days. And I'll be your biggest advocate. And if you ever want help with budget, with money, with whatever, I'll be here. But let's call this what this is, okay? And then that's the best you can do, Brooke. And if he throws a fit and screams and yells and calls you, you're leaving me just like mom did or dad did, then he's showing you his true colors and he's going to head off.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he exhales and says, you're right, dude, thank you. You gave me 2 months of kind of a glitch in the matrix, get my feet under me, and I'll be on my way.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's
and
easy
I
to
think, my husband has said, the same thing. And so I think it just resonates. And I know, that's probably the best thing. It's just, being that I feel like having that hard conversation of how I'm going to say that, not so much how he's maybe going to receive it, but I just feel wrong for doing that. But then again, I'm like, my husband he's such a hard worker and does what it takes to provide every day. And I wanted my brother to get on his feet so that he could provide for his son. And it's just like, I feel like I'm kind of punishing my husband too, because he sacrifices so much for our family. And, I just need him. I'm trying to make my brother have the same drive as my husband. And it's not that. It's not so.
Hey, Brooke, can I tell
And
you what I really think?
yes.
I think you're punishing Brooke. I think, yeah, it's hard on your husband, but he married you. He loves you for every bit of the people pleaser you are, and he loves you for every bit of you taking every stray dog and cat. He loves you for that. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it expensive? Yes. But he loves you for that. But you, Brooke, keep carrying around that somehow you're going to be the person that keeps this thing duct taped together because mom and dad didn't, and you don't have that kind of power.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
and it's funny you say that because, like, so many of my siblings have lived with me for various, just getting on their feet, and I'm the person they call, and it's like I want it more than they do.
That's
and then
right.
I get myself in a hard situation because I pour so much into it. And then at the end of the day, I'm the one who gets crapped on, for a better word. So
That's right. And here's the thing. It goes back to that original thing I said. Mom and dad didn't leave because of you. They left because they had their own demons.
yeah.
And somehow you don't think you're worth the life that you have now. You don't think you're worth this amazing husband. You don't think you're worth these beautiful 5 kids and this nice house you live in. And as long as you keep carrying that story around, you're going to keep letting in every stray cat that doesn't want to improve their life. Dude, anybody can come stay with me and my family if they want to turn the knob. People can come stay with my family if they need a place to crash. But I'm not going to burn my house down for somebody that just wants a place to not have to deal with their responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want you to consider, and this is going to be a sharp turn for you. I want you to consider, what would you say to Brooke? How would you love Brooke if you were to knock on your door? And you'd probably say something like, God, sister, come in here and rest. And if there was a bunch of hound dogs following her, you'd say, hey, get out of here. She needs to rest. She's working. She's got a house of 5 kids. She's got an amazing husband that she wants to spend time with. I want you to care about you at least as much. And there's probably some things, I don't want to speak this into your life, but there's probably some ways your husband's been trying to love you for years and you won't let him because you don't think you're worth it. I want you to go tell him you're sorry. Let that poor man love you. Am I right? Ask him.
I don't know.
Ask him.
Mm-hmm. I will.
Okay. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong. Y'all can just be like, that guy's an idiot. And y'all can say that together. That's great. I have a feeling he'll be like, man, I've been trying.
I think I'm going to ask him that question. I don't know the answer.
Okay. The world needs more gentle spirits like you. And also, I think your gentle spirit is a very carefully crafted cover-up for a very strong, knows what I want and knows how to survive, scratching and clawing, hope-filled woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I want her kids to get to meet her. I want your husband to get to meet her. Because she's badass.
Thank you. I really appreciate the input, and I guess from here it's just having that hard conversation. And my husband and I, we kind of talked about it, and we were like, well, maybe we'll just give it till after the holidays, and then, or maybe tell him now, that way he can, prepare and save up as much as he can, and, be looking. But
Can I challenge you one more time?
Yes.
How old's your oldest kid?
He's 14 this Friday.
Okay. He has 4 Christmases left in your house before he's gone.
I know. My husband and I just said that last night.
He's got 4 left. Let's don't take 25% of those as a walking on eggshells for a grown-up brother who may throw a temper tantrum at any moment.
Okay.
I'd rather you give him $2,500 and say, we love you. Here's a down payment on an apartment.
My husband mentioned that too, but yes.
Your husband sounds like the most genius guy who's ever
He really is. He really is. He honestly is. And it's not that I don't respect like what he says. It's just like
he married you because he loves himself a spreadsheet and the next right thing. Yeah. And he married you because you have a heart that's so big. It's like oxygen for him. Y'all are perfect for each other. And there also is going to be tension there.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to want to buy generic dog food, and you're going to want to buy the dog food that, like, I don't know, is blessed by some holy leader in some other country. And it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just your heart. And so that's going to be awesome. But, I wouldn't burn 5 kids worth of a Christmas break dancing on eggshells. Or maybe you say, hey, we're going to let you stay through Christmas or through December 15th. And for those of y'all listening, this is into the new year, but we're going to let you stay through December 15th, which is a month from now. But if there's any kind of XYZ, if you smoke in the house again, if you vape out in the yard again, if you, like any of those things, you got to go. So you get to choose whether you stay here or not. But here's the rules for staying for the next 30 days.
Yeah. And then I guess that was where I struggled too, is like, you know, talking about holding him accountable, but not really holding him accountable. But yes, I think I feel peace with telling them, you know, giving them that time frame, and it's just sitting down and having that hard conversation. And I love him being around, you know, I love him being there, but I think it's time and necessary.
Say those words to him.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when you choose to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the next 30 days, choosing to be here looks like this. Boom, 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 boom. And if you can tell them, if I made this awkward by having this conversation now, I get that. If you feel awkward here in the house now, I get it. Here's $2,000 if you want to go get an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everybody listening, do you have to give $2,000? No, you don't have to. But if you're in a position to do it and it just helps, then I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not like, you get out of my house right now. That's not that, right? This is compassion, and this is also honesty. And this is you for the first time saying, okay, I got to put my oxygen mask on. Because in the hierarchy of importance, I got this husband that I looked at and said, till death do us part, I made a covenant. I got these 5 kids that came into the world because of me. And then I've got this brother who's a grown adult who should be taking care of himself and his family, who's made choices up until now to not. So we're going to go in that order of importance. I'm super, super honored that I got to talk to you today. And I'm grateful for your heart. Call anytime we can help. Hang on the line. I'm going to send you Financial Peace University for free. And I want you to gift it to your brother. You can tell him you can stay here 30 days, but you got to watch all 9 lessons. And by the way, make all 5 of your kids watch it. It'll be fun for them. Actually, some of them will be bored out of their mind, but your 14-year-old will like it. And they can watch this thing and they can begin to all have conversations and learn together. Maybe that'll work. Hang on the line here and we'll get you hooked up. We'll be right back. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, good folks, listen, we all have stories. We have the family and cultural stories that we were born into. We have the stories of the good and the challenging things that have happened to us. And we have the stories that we are constantly telling ourselves. We've got the stories of our past and the stories we have yet to write about our futures, and they're all powerful. And while you can't go back and change any of your old stories, the world is waiting to see what story you're going to write next. And as we enter 2025, I want to encourage you to examine and even heal your old stories and be intentional about the new ones you're writing. And I'm not talking about goals that will be long gone by February. I'm talking about new stories that will change your life forever for the better. And if you're like me, therapy can be a great place to explore the old stories and begin writing new ones. Maybe think of your therapist as your editorial partner, helping you write new, better stories. If you're considering therapy, I want you to try calling my friends at BetterHelp. BetterHelp is 100% online therapy, and you can talk with your therapist when it works for your schedule. You just fill out a short online survey and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no extra cost. Start writing a new story this month with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Delony to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, ramsey.com/Delony. All right, we're back. Kelly, you have your making fun of me face going.
No, I was actually commenting on Keeler made a pretty bad joke yesterday, and I was just commenting on it.
Gosh, if people could hear Keeler's jokes, they're
fantastic. It was just a bad dad joke. It wasn't like a bad joke. It was just one of those like.
But even Keeler's bad jokes are fantastic.
It's pretty good. So
we were down there by your NASA station. If you could just we need to get him a microphone. He could just pitch in and make jokes the whole time. It'd be great.
I do have a microphone.
I know, but you don't want to get canceled and you value your job and blah, blah, blah.
Half the things I say probably can't go on the show.
He's probably right about that.
There you go. All right, so what you got? You got an email, Kelly?
All right, so for those that have listened to the show that's right below this one in the feed, we had a caller who was struggling with his girlfriend's boyfriend. Her previous boyfriend had died by suicide.
Yes.
And he was struggling by comparing himself to her.
I remember this call. Yeah.
Well, for us, it just happened yesterday.
But that's
still.
I remember this call.
Yeah. So he sent in a lovely email, and I wanted to read it.
Awesome. Oh, so he wrote it. He wrote the email 24 hours later.
Yeah, he sent this to Taylor.
Gina. Okay.
So he says, John, even though we had a short conversation on the show today, and I was extremely nervous, the advice you gave me was life-changing in two particular things. For one, you helped me flip the story. I will be telling myself from now on of the insecure comparison, which is unfair to my girlfriend, to one of understanding that she saw me as someone that brings a light back to her life when it was dark for so long. Mm-hmm. After you said that, I instantly felt a sense of relief and almost happiness. It showed me that I am capable of being loved. Second, you talked about how this really has nothing to do with her late boyfriend and more or less has to do with my fear of vulnerability, which I will step into. Our conversation has lifted what felt like shackles that I had around me. And afterwards, I feel as if a deep-rooted belief of not being worthy of love has been broken. And every time she tells me she loves me, I will take your advice and say to myself, I believe you. I tried to put these words together the best I can. Altogether, thank you. You are a role model for me, and your understanding of life's problems and their solutions is incredible.
Dude, good on that guy. What a great note. It's awesome. Thank you for sending that, man. And I guess if he was sitting right with me, I'd give him a quick word of caution. Being vulnerable almost guarantees that you will get hurt. But it will also guarantee that you can be loved in a profound and deep way. And so it's both and. Is it C.S. Lewis that says that there's one way to never get hurt, and that is to never love or be loved, right? And so it's both and. But good on him, man. What an amazing kid. Good on him. Cool. And I guess just one more thing I would pass along, Kelly, that's just a good example of what kindness looks like. Maybe you could try that one day. It'd be cool.
You're doing so good.
2025.
You were doing so good.
Kelly's going to be kind in 2025. She's not. Love you guys. Bye. Hey, what up? What up? Listen, the latest episode of my docuseries, United States of Anxiety, is available right now exclusively on the Ramsey Network app. Each episode follows a caller from my show on a 90-day journey to transform their life. You want to know the cool part? I personally walk alongside them throughout it all. This episode features Kelsey, whose battle with severe anxiety is putting her most important relationships at risk. And you can only watch this show on the Ramsey Network app. So make sure you download the app and dive in right now. And while you're there, you can also binge episodes of the Dr. John Delony Show on demand and other Ramsey Network shows like The Ramsey Show. And did I mention this app is free? Go ahead and download the Ramsey Network app right now. Go.